Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. I tell you, one of the things that I think is really cool is the field of publishing, and I think it's really neat that the great city of Houston has a very fine publishing house devoted to the state of Texas. And Dino Price, no relation to our knowledge, but I can't help but think anyone with the same last name probably has some relation. He's our guest here today, and we're going to chat a little bit about John Hardy Publishing and some of the great works that are out there this year. Plus, just as a disclaimer, I've got a book that is in the process of being written that should be done by early fall on why Texas is exploding economically. That's going really well. I've been adding some fine interviews from business owners from around the country who have moved here. Plus, I'm in the process of scheduling an interview with some of our state's leaders, including Greg Abbott's office, has said that the governor will be meeting with me about this. We'll just see if that's a campaign promise he keeps, but my gut tells me he will. Dino Price, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Brother Price. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Tell us a little bit more about the great work of John Hardy Publishing.
Well, let's talk about a distribution program that we're kind of working on with. We have some co-conspirators. One's in Dallas, the other's Fort Worth, Arlington area. And we're working on they are working on a single Texas distribution channel for all, well, the four big distribution services like Baker Taylor, Ingram, and Broadart. It's going to be a Texas-only channel, which is unique and special. They don't do things like this. It's just not done. You don't have one channel for one particular niche, although Texas is a huge niche, and so the Texas authors will have a brand new channel in which to distribute their books through.
Wow, that's fantastic. What's the time frame on that?
It's going to be, well, yeah, you're looking at maybe a year or so to put all this together. This is a lot of legal maneuvering that well above my pay grade. But I've heard about it, and I'm kind of excited about this whole thing because this means broader distribution, better pricing, better price models for the publishers and for the authors, and possible worldwide distribution almost immediate. You can print a book today and have it in Japan by next month.
Wow, that's amazing. Very impressive. And are you directly involved in this, or are you one of the people that just will be one of the beneficiaries in this? What is the role?
No, just one of the beneficiaries. That's all they need. That's all they want me for anyway, because, being a publisher, I don't really know much more about distribution or about the legal wranglings on that stuff. But all they need me for is just good books, good titles, and good authors to do my job, which is make sure we got good paper out there in the marketplace.
Yeah, and let me just say that one of the things that attracted me to John Hardy as a publisher is the quality of your books. Your books are just so I don't know. They've got a feel about them. They're kind of done with that same tradition that old books were done. Where the aesthetic of it, the feel of it, was almost as important as the content of it.
Yeah, it's the sex appeal. Books, it's a contextual attraction. It's feeling. You feel the books. You feel the pages in your fingers. It's part of that whole experience of reading a book. It's better than. And I hate to really slam ebooks, but I'm going to slam ebooks. I don't like them. No, we do them, but we just you don't have that same textile feeling.
Yeah, it doesn't feel the same. And, I like magazines over websites, even though, I'm an owner of a pretty large, actually two large footprint websites. I don't like, I still love magazines. I'm a huge magazine fan. I like books. I like to hold books. But not only are they quality, because see, what I'm noticing with books is that they're getting lighter and lighter. And of course, the objective behind that is to make them cheaper to mail, but you get the sense that they're not going to be around, as long because of how light they are. I just see a sense of quality, a commitment to quality that is that's still there in John Hardy books.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And you're absolutely, and I love making those books. That sexy feel to them. I love those things.
Yeah,
and we'll keep doing them. That's our heartbeat.
Yeah, no question about it. I think it's great. So right now, kind of gives an overview of the many great books that you have in the in your library.
Well, the one we're working on 3 right now. I'm not sure if you remember the CalFest or the Hayfest books. The author is Ellen Rothberg. She wrote a book. It's called Don't Eat the Bluebonnets, we're redoing that book, redoing the artwork for that book, and we're re-releasing that sometime in the spring. We also brought on a new author for young adults. Her name is Lori Gray, and she has some young adults, children's stories about Mocha and the Well. That's also going to be released in the spring. And then also, if you recall, about 50 years ago, there was a guy named Charles Whiteman that went to the towers at UT and started shooting people.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a brain tumor. He left in his suicide note. He asked that people would, basically do forensic work to figure out what was wrong with him.
Well, we are actually publishing that forensic work, that in-depth investigative field work on that event, and then the trauma and the trail of tears, of course, afterwards.
Yeah.
That's going to be published next year. We have our cooperation from all the universities. Again, I'm not the author of this thing. I'm just the publisher. The material that I've had, the material I've seen is just exciting. It really is. It really does put a different light on things and let people understand exactly what was going on, what was happening in Charles's head at the time this was all happening, and what happened to the people afterwards. It's just amazing. It's an amazing story.
Yeah, I think that's great. And do you know what you're going to call that book?
That's kind of still up in the air. It really is. And most of the good sniper titles have always been taken by everybody else who had a sniper book out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I bet that's true. What is her credentials?
I'm sorry?
What is the author's credentials?
He's a lawyer. He and his son, they're lawyers out there in Austin. That's what they've been writing biographies for years and forensic books for years. But he is a lawyer. And also one of the co-authors is a psychologist.
Yeah, obviously you need that in something like this. So that's interesting. And speaking of lawyers, you got a book out right now that's about one of Texas' most famous lawyers. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's Tony Busby, and that book is selling really well up and down the Galveston Bay area. And everybody in Galveston down the area, they know Tony Busby. He's the guy that sued BP and Exxon, and also sued Ford Motor Company and GM. He is North America's most successful trial lawyers. And we have a book written by Michael E. Lanning. He's a biographer. He's done 23 type biographies like this. This is another, mark in his gun case. It really did a really good job.
Yeah, very, very good. Well, I love your books. I love the Texas focus, and I think it's fantastic. You were talking about the young adult book. Have you ventured in that arena before now?
No, we haven't. This is something new for us. We're trying to expand and build new markets, young adult books and children's books. Another thing we're trying to expand into is Texas true crimes. And I'm looking right now, actively searching for authors in Texas true crimes.
And there's tons. I mean, some of Texas' most famous serial murderers. Some of the most famous serial murderers were from Texas. I'm trying to think of a couple.
Yeah, and quite frankly, and shame on us, I guess. Some of the most exciting crimes in the history of mankind have occurred in Texas.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'll think of them. The way I operate, unfortunately, is that as soon as the segment ends, I'll remember who exactly I was thinking of. But that's just how it works.
Well, right now we're looking at some of the financial crimes like Enron and Sanford. Just looking at those just right now. Those are exciting and new. They're new crimes. They're world-changing, game-changing crimes, and they're Texas crimes.
Yeah, no question about it. There's some major stories out there. There's this whole I-45 corridor of all those murders that took place there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a lot. Texas has some really scary but interesting stories. Well, tell me, altogether, how many books will you have for 2015? Mine, of course, my goal is to get it ready for you for 2015, although I know how reality works. It may be an early 2016 release. But tell me what it's looking like for you.
Yeah, 2015, we're coming up with about 6 titles. It's a short year for us. 2016, that is going to be a better year for all of us, especially if we get the new channels opened up and if we get the new marketplace for YA and for children's books really going. We should get 12 to 14 titles for next year.
Yeah, I think who I was thinking of was Henry Lee Lucas. Henry Lee Lucas, of course, had a West Texas connection. They say he killed at least 350 people over the course of 20 years, though he confessed that he was involved in up to 600 killings.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And so, everything's big in Texas. So, That's incredible. Dino Price, he is, I really enjoyed Dino, and I enjoy the work that he's doing there at John Hardy Publishing, the website for John Hardy.
JohnHardyPublishing.com.
Check it out. Check it out. Keep an eye out for my book, Why Texas is Exploding Economically, Why It Should Continue, and really, it's also written with the idea of what other states could learn from Texas. Thanks so much for being, thanks for being with us, Dino.
Thank you very much, sir. Have
All
a good
right.
day.
When we come back, much more for you right here on The Price of Business.